What's up, y'all? Today, I'm with MD.
What's up, people?
NERDSoul.
Late Ill Kid at One Yourself, holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, we got another episode of Rare Air. She has a topic. I have no idea what it is. So we're going to get started with what?
Am I black enough?
Okay. And what do you mean by that? Because that's a large, like a large diverse array of ideas when you say that.
Right. Well, me personally, being born on the West Coast and being from a family that is part immigrant.
Okay.
My black culture is a little bit different than other people's black culture.
Okay.
And coming up in LA and meeting other black people and learning about other black experiences and other black cultures, I've become very cognizant that even though we're all black people, we can all have different cultures.
Yeah.
And I have been told, because of where my family's from, that I'm not black enough sometimes.
Okay, so where is your family from?
So my mother's family is from Central America.
Okay.
And the people from Central America, or my mom's family, are called Garifuna. So it's an African tribe that is in Central America, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize. Okay, in that area. So, my grandparents, my mom's parents, their primary language was Spanish.
Okay.
My grandmother spoke 3 languages. My grandfather spoke 7.
Wow.
And he was...
it's pretty accomplished.
Right?
I speak 1 language.
I also speak 1 language.
And come on, you only got 1.
Right.
All those languages you only
got robbed. And that's another part of the black enough, because when I'm with like my mom's side of the family or some of the members of the side of the family, they kind of look at us like, why don't you speak Spanish? Why don't you know more about your culture? How come you're not more immersed?
Okay.
Right? But
and then your father's side is
from Texas.
Okay. So South black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you have kind of like Afro-Latino kinda, and then just South, Southern, like.
And that was the thing, they weren't even really Southern black. Like my dad's like, I never, what people call soul food, I wasn't raised on.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with.
So what did you grow up on?
I grew up on what everybody calls Mexican food, or Honduran food. We had beans, rice, chicken. Steak, tortillas, chorizo. Stuff like.
So with that, people have always been like, well, you're not really black enough.
Well, no, not in that aspect, because a lot of people don't bother to get to know about my culture, but when I ask about theirs, they're like, the hell, why don't you know more?
It's like, don't you know? Like,
yeah, because I'll be honest with you, and I probably shouldn't even say this on tape, but I'm going to.
This is on tape.
When I found out that there were historically black colleges, I was gobsmacked. And people thought that I was.
Well, see, you came up in the West Coast.
Right.
So you never really. It is a different experience, because coming from the East Coast, I'm from Virginia.
Right.
So moving here to the West Coast, I will say that there's a different type of blackness, if that's the term. I don't know how to put a finger on it, but there is a different type of blackness.
Okay.
On the West Coast, I feel like there's less reaching back to the past or historic, but I guess from out here, like technically slavery didn't exist in California, technically, but then there were issues. There were issues
but there was
early on in
here.
segregation. Yeah, so it's like technically.
Right.
But then you had,
but then
issues
you
with
have blacks
Mexicans
from the
and stuff.
South that came here.
Yeah.
Right? So, but then I guess the heritage and a lot of the culture didn't come with them.
Yeah, I guess they kind of like left that. They were like, I want to leave it. I'm new here.
Right.
That's interesting. So how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as like black plus, Black, like
Ooh, Black Plus.
like Black Plus.
I like the iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, and like you're stepping up to another level, because I guess there are a lot of people that are like, oh well, that's Afro-Latino, so that's not.
Right,
you know?
and
but
that's the thing.
It's funny because it's like you realize this all black people. It's still part of the African diaspora.
Right.
You know, and
exactly.
I feel like, I will say this, it seems like Afro-Latinos don't relate to Africa in the same way that black people do or that Jamaicans do.
See, I don't know.
But maybe that's an outside looking in thing.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know how like Southern blacks relate to Africa
Okay.
versus Midwestern blacks relating to Africa.
True. Yeah.
Versus West Coast blacks relating to Africa. I know that Garifuna is very rooted in their African heritage. Okay. And they have, their customs and traditions are still very alive and well today.
Okay, cool.
But, you know, as there are different tribes across Africa, there are different traditions, there are different customs, and there are different, you know, practices. Mm-hmm. Like I have a professor that I'm super fond of. He is from Africa, and I can't tell you what part he's from because I can't remember at this very moment, but his culture is different than my Nigerian friend's culture. You see what I'm saying? So
because Africa is a very big place, because it's a continent, not a country.
Right. So it's like there's so many different, you know, things that you could relate to or that you can connect to, that it's really difficult to say, you know, I can't gauge my blackness by that.
All right. Now, question, when was the first time that you ever thought or said, am I black enough? Like, what was the situation you were in? What was going on?
See, I don't.
Or was it just like a collection of like life experiences?
It's kind of funny because people will be like, ooh, you're not really black.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, well,
now, is this coming from white people
no,
or black people?
No, other black people. And then I'm like,
of course.
So then I'm like, well, what do I got to do to be black enough? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I never said, am I black enough now? I'm just kind of like, did that do it?
I achieved peak blackness.
Right. Like,
I've made it.
When do I get there? And how do I get my card?
Now, I will say, at least from my experience being American black, there is this distinction between what is kind of like quintessential blackness as opposed to, and the quintessential blackness would be like, say like Good Times. Okay. And then like there would be like the Cosby Show. Okay. Which is like, these are like the upper class black people. And they're not black enough. You know,
see,
like
and that's the crazy thing.
And it's almost like blackness is tied to how close you are to a struggle of some sort. Okay. I guess, or poverty of some sort. Okay. Now, of course, that's being broad. Right. But that's kind of like either how I saw it, or other times when I was growing up, where it's like how tough you were. Okay. Like, you know, like I remember when I was coming up, being smart wasn't really cool. Like being on the honor roll, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm on the honor roll. Right. And they would make fun of you for that. Right. You know, it's like, look, you got to play sports, got to be dumb. And you gotta like tough. Make fun of people, super tough. Yeah, want to risk your life. Yeah, gotta be cool. Because if you're not cool, then the girls like you, stuff like that. Okay. So that's the kind of stuff that I dealt with in school. Okay. But then when I got older, it was more of a like where your people come from. Okay. Like, are you from like South Side, or are you from like some, you know, county area? And, you know, so it was like less small individual things, but just like a broad thing that didn't make you black enough or real enough. Okay. So that's kind of like, you know.
For me, I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic area. Mm-hmm. So even on our block, there weren't a lot of black families. Okay. And then in the elementary school I went to was 98% Hispanic. Then there was my black family. And then there were some, you know,
a couple like speckled around.
Yeah, like a Filipino, a Samoan, you know.
like one.
Yeah, literally, you know. So it wasn't like a huge, you know, spread. But then when I went to high school, it was very diverse. It was white, it was black, it was Hispanic, it was Asian, it was mixed race. Everybody was there. So I was never in a concentrated area of black people, or
to really get the, I guess, what would be the quintessential American black
experience. Right? Yeah, because all the black people I knew were my family.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of all know that, like, kind of like sardines, pork and beans, like those kind of like fried bologna sandwiches. Like, it's usually tied to being poor.
Right.
Or like experiencing the struggle, like food stamps, government cheese, like that. Like, that's the stuff that like people would tie to blackness.
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, you're not real enough. And it's an interesting take because, when people define it like that, did it ever like hurt you in a way, or did it just make you like,
I didn't know.
Why is that?
Yeah, but I didn't know. And, nobody outside of the black race ever mentioned those things to me. So.
It didn't really weigh on you either.
Right, right. It didn't compute that way for me.
Okay, cool.
And I remember like one time I was watching an Elvis movie. Okay. And I loved Elvis. And it was on every summer, right? So I was in the beach blanket bingo. I was doing it all, right?
Wow.
And my grandmother comes in and she's like, "Oh, he doesn't like black people." And I was like,
he doesn't?
I don't know why but it wasn't like, it didn't connect to me that she was talking about me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah. She was talking about you.
Right. And I was like, and I'm still.
You're like,
right?
Like, no, you're black.
Right. But
Like,
it never like clicked like that, you know what I'm saying? And nobody who wasn't black ever said anything disparaging about black people to me.
Oh, okay.
So
you never really got, because like when I was in 3rd grade, which would make me, I don't know, maybe like 9,
7,
10, something like that. I don't know, whatever age I was.
Yeah.
Whatever, like 7, 8, something like that. I just remember riding my bike, and I was in Virginia at the time, and a group of white guys in a truck chased me, shouting the N-word at me. And I didn't know what it was, but I was just scared for my life because I was like, what's going on? I'm just like riding my bike through the neighborhood.
See, my dumbass, I'd have been like, what?
I didn't know what it was. I was scared, but I didn't. And that's when I kind of realized I got home and my mother sat me down and was like, okay, this is what it is.
Oh, okay. See, we never had those experiences, but when I was when I was older, I would probably say like 13, I was at Redondo Beach. And these white guys were leaning against the wall and they were calling us jungle bunnies. And I was like, oh, they sound so cute. Like, I'm thinking a cute bunny. It's chocolate. I'm not knowing, to be insulted.
See. You know what? It's a good thing that she's not insulted. Like, she's like above being insulted.
I'm just too dead. So I was like, a jungle bunny? Like, that jungle sounds bunny. Adorable.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Jungle bunny.
So, I go away, I'm not insulted because I didn't know it was an insult.
Wow.
Because nobody ever told me these things.
And that's an interesting way to grow up, though. Because in a way you were sort of, due to not knowing it, you were insulated from kind of like the harm associated with those terms.
Right.
Which is interesting. Wow.
So that, again, they're like, oh. Like, if you've known your black history, you'd have known. And I was like,
say, I don't. Wow.
My bad. I didn't know,
So, okay, when it comes to being black enough, now that you've kind of like, you've seen other cultures, you've seen, what does black mean to you?
For me, black is fluid.
Okay.
To me, it's
is it Rachel Dolezal fluid, or is it?
There's a funny story about that. Now that you bring it up, but I watched the Rachel Dolezal story on Netflix.
I haven't watched it. I saw it. I was just like.
I watched it because I wanted to see what all the outrage was about. Right?
Oh, okay.
And to be honest with you, my own perspective was I could see both sides of this argument. Okay. Now, present to me her side, because I'm very interested
in her honest argument.
So her honest argument was that when she was a teenager, let me back up. Her parents had adopted black kids.
Okay.
And then they went to Africa on a missionary trip, and they
Okay.
lived there for several years. And she was so in love with the black culture that she was experiencing that she wanted to become a part of it. So she just like, she was so immersed in it that she took it on as her identity.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm leaning. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm leaning with it. Okay.
So, and that's when she embraced being African American, and then her parents were abusing the 2 adopted black kids, and so she had ended up adopting one of them.
Wow.
She became his legal guardian.
Wow.
And then when she became his legal guardian, that's when, in order to explain him being her son, she started saying she was black.
Wow.
Aloud. So
okay.
You know,
so it's kind of like a weird storm of a mix of situations that normally would never be duplicated.
Right. So she could have probably said, yeah, I'm his white mom and his dad is black. She could have gone that route, but because she was so in love with the black culture she was experiencing, she wanted to belong.
Okay.
And she didn't want to be kind of like on the outskirts, like, you know, oh, you're black adjacent. She wanted to be black. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So I see her side of the argument, then I also see the black side of the argument, like this is appropriation.
This is not what you are.
Right, and
you're not,
you know,
like,
a lot of the times they were saying,
like
well,
a house
any
cat
day
will never be a lion, no matter what.
Right, but if the house cat sees himself as a lion,
the house cat
right?
looks in the mirror
But the black people in the documentary, their argument was, yeah, but if the water gets too hot, you could always go back and say you're white.
Yeah, that is true.
She didn't.
But did the water ever get hot enough for her to have to do that?
Well, she was the president of the NAACP. She was out there marching and protesting, and she was, you know, and yeah, the water did get hot, and she still claimed that she was black. And then when she was found out, you know, you saw that famous news report where they asked her, "Are you black?" And she's like, "Why is this even a question?" You know what I'm saying? That was when the water got hot.
That was man funny though.
Right?
Because here's how I feel about her. You know, there were a couple of sisters in that chapter of the NAACP that always was looking at her like, something ain't right.
And they were in that.
Something
they
ain't
were
right.
in that documentary.
Something ain't right.
They were like,
There was like, there's something, because Gina is light, but Rachel is white. Right?
But it wasn't even that. They were like, she never spoke of her own black experiences coming up. She was always talking about her kids' black experience. And they were like, why don't you have any of your own?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what kind of made them suspicious.
Because on the real, straight up, side note, only black women should be like detectives in the police force, because they're going to find you out. All right? I'm just letting you know.
Right.
Black women going to get to the bottom of this. Whatever it is.
Right.
They're going to get to the bottom. Because they was like, why you ain't talking about your own experience?
Right. What?
What's wrong with you?
Right.
What you go through?
Right. How come your Kool-Aid only got half the sugar? What's going on right now?
It's like, make some Kool-Aid real quick.
Right.
Wrong.
Right. You only use one flavor.
You only use red.
Right.
Oh, you ain't even mixing flavors?
Right.
You don't even know about that. No.
Yeah, she ain't got a pack of lemon in here nowhere.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. So, all right,
so fluidity-wise, for me, my blackness is the intermingling of all black culture.
Okay.
And appreciating all of it. Because I have my Texas family side, I have my Central American family side, I have my California side, and then we have everybody who's married into the family. Then I have my friends who come from, like you're from Virginia, right? And then I have my other friend from Maryland, and then I have my other friend.
Maryland, what's up? DMV area.
Right. Then I have my friends in New Jersey and New York, and and everybody's culture is just slightly different to where we can lend to each other. So I've learned a lot from other black people, and I've been able to integrate those parts of their culture that I like into who I am and identify. Because at the end of the day, my objective is to connect, not to, differentiate myself from somebody because I grew up differently. I want to share with you my culture, and you share with me yours, and then we blend it together. because we're, we're all this one family, and I had a conversation actually with one of my friends. She's from Somalia. And I asked her, because I was like, why do Africans hate African Americans?
Yeah, because that's the idea, at least the old idea.
Right.
I don't know if that's
I don't think it's true today.
Yeah, but the old idea was, at least like in the 80s and 90s, the idea was that they were not too keen on us.
Right. And she was like, we thought you hated us. We thought you were better than us. And we were like, I was like, when did that, what happened?
Yeah, that... I feel like I know who told them that lie.
Oh, you do? You know who that was? I feel
like I got an idea on who told them that.
We need to talk to you. You need to stop spreading lies.
Look, check it. Africa, we down with you.
Right, we love you. If you saw the last BET Awards, we love you. But,
oh, man.
Yeah, so for me, we'll all do it. But, yeah, for me, my African heritage is anything that I can find out about myself and where I'm from, and what part I play in it and what can I contribute.
Okay.
So,
cool.
And I might not be black enough. Like for me, I wasn't real upset with Rachel Dolezal. She was doing good things for black people in Seattle.
Okay. I don't know. It was more of a like shake my head joke for me. It was just like, yeah, we can't have nothing, can we?
See, but that's the thing.
And so I wasn't like angry with her, but I was just like, and you went to Howard too, so we can't have nothing. So you got to have everything. Now here you come with crinkles in your hair, trying to be cool.
Right, and she does weaves, she does braids and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, so when it was like, my friend asked me about it, she was like, well, how do you feel about that? I was like, well, how do we feel? Because I'm just gonna go with the consensus. I'm like, are we mad at her?
The black delegation.
Right, like we're mad, right? Okay, then I'm gonna just go sit over
All
here.
All black people mad.
Right, because I was like, we're mad at us that don't want to be us. We're mad at those who want to be us. We're mad at those who embrace us. We're mad at those who don't embrace us. I'm like, you just tell me who to be mad at.
I will say this. I think the idea when we're mad at those that want to be us, I think a lot of times the problem with like cultural appropriation is that when we do it, it's something to be frowned upon or shunned or hidden or it's negative or something bad kind of connotation.
Right.
But then when you do it, it's fashion forward, it's edgy, it's creative, it's whatever, and it's like, what?
So, yeah, and I can appreciate that, being angry about stuff like that, but then also, what makes me angry is like, we do something and it's black people do that kind of stuff all the time. But somebody who's not black does it and they make millions of dollars. And you're like,
yeah, and you're like, hold up, because there's a lot of people like, I'm gonna say this, and I don't have anything against the guy. I got a couple of his albums. You look at Usher and you look at Justin Timberlake, and they were making essentially the same music. But there was a point in time when the industry kind of told Usher that what he was making, I'm not trying to hear it no more.
Right.
It's old.
Right.
R&B's old. But then when Justin Timberlake started to make essentially the same music, then it was, oh man, it's awards time now.
What? Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Pop the champagne.
And that's the kind of stuff that makes me upset. Like you're doing, like Eminem came out. How many hundreds of black rappers came before him?
Yo.
And then all of a sudden he comes out and like in a week he's #1 or something.
Let me say this about Eminem. It's not that he isn't talented.
Right, he is talented.
It's that he is overrated due to his white privilege inside of the space of a black art. And that's the issue.
Yeah.
It's not that he's not talented.
Yeah, he's talented.
It's that he's not more talented than any of the brothers or sisters
like I said,
that have picked up the mic before.
Right, like KRS-One.
Pick any from the old school, even from the new. Well, there's some tough, but for the new school, you got some cats like people are pointing to Kendrick, Anderson .Paak is another one. ASAP, if you like him, you got some cats that are really bringing some creative lyrics, some creative songs.
Yeah.
but they somehow they miss the shine somehow.
Right. And that's the kind of stuff that like bothers me. I don't mind that other races come in and they embrace the things that we've created and the arts that we perform. I love Bruno Mars.
Yeah,
love him, but he doesn't pretend like he's taking something from us. He gives appreciation for
at least. I don't know what he does in his personal life, but I don't think I've ever seen a situation where he was kind of like dogging out another black artist and then turning around and doing black music.
Right. Well, even that song that he did with Cardi B, in the video where they did like an In Living Color type of spoof, he even gave credit. He was like, "This is my homage to a show that I grew up with that influenced my life." Right. That was a black show.
Yeah.
So he's not pretending that he didn't know where he came from.
Yeah, that's very much a part of his experience.
Right.
That he's sharing in, but not. It's weird. And I know there's a fine line, but it seems like he's sharing in the experience instead of taking advantage of.
Yes.
And I know you have to decide where that line is.
Yeah, and for me, like, I can't paint all these artists with a broad stroke. I can't, all these fashion designers, everybody has their own individual motives, and that's what I think that we need to look at, when we're judging whether or not this person is appropriating or if they're, integrating.
Yeah.
So.
All right, cool. Well, for me, black is something to laugh about. Black is something to cry about. Now, that's a little Black Star reference. All right. Black is Africa and the African diaspora, which means Africa proper, like the little, the continent. There's like a triangle-ish kind of thing.
Many countries
many countries in it. And then you have like Belize, you have Jamaica or American blacks or Afro-Latinos. So you have Trinidad, stuff like that. So you have those parts of, blackness. And all of them have different, I guess, parts and pieces of them, but they have all been the driving force of culture throughout the world.
Yes.
So that's what blackness is to me. Now, I know that's very broad, but hopefully we can get to a point where it's not a situation where it's like, you're not black enough.
Yeah.
Or
I really feel like we should stop doing that. Especially if we want inclusion and we want us to lift each other up, we have to stop tearing each other down.
Yeah. Because we got enough to fight externally.
Right.
But I do think like kind of just knowing that blackness isn't only American blackness.
Yes.
And I think something that was displayed pretty well, especially with the differences, was like the new season of Luke Cage, where you had American blacks and Jamaicans.
Right.
And there was a very...
And I did have to watch that with subtitles, but go ahead.
My brother has a friend, my boy Nero, from Trinidad, and there'd be many times where we would have a conversation. I'd be like, "Okay, I need you to repeat that just one more time."
Más despacio, por favor.
I mean, like, if you could just say that one more time.
Slow it down.
I know you're saying this in English, but I'm just saying my ears. Yeah. I have no idea what you just said.
And to my shame, when I was in Okeechobee, Florida, I had that very same experience.
Wow.
They were speaking English, and I was like,
"What?"
Yeah, I was like,
You're like, say that one more time. Oh, man.
I'm going to need you to say that 5 more times, because I'm going to get one word every time you say it.
So it's, there's something, beautiful about blackness and the way it's been able to survive in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Even here. And be as strong, even here, and be as strong as it is. But, there isn't just one way to be black, even though there is and there isn't. I think the way there is one way to be black is that we've all got to recognize that we have to kind of like support each other.
Yes.
But the way that there isn't is, a black Brazilian isn't, they didn't grow up the way a black Jamaican did, or a black American, or someone black from Belize. Because A friend of mine, Sade, friend of the show, she does the Atlanta reviews. She's from Belize.
Okay.
And I just thought she was black.
Right,
I was like, you black?
Right.
And she's like, oh, I'm from Belize. I'm like, oh, yeah, you still black.
Right. My black Colombian friends. Black.
Yeah, because when the police pull you over, yo, sis black. Right. Just letting you know that. Yo, sis black.
Right. So it was crazy. Like, my first step show, man, that was amazing.
See, I've been to so many step shows. I'm saying, you're like, wow.
I was like, my eyes were wide open the whole time.
Oh,
like,
yeah, because they don't do a lot of that over here because it's the West Coast, so it's not, you don't have the HBCU, so it's not the same.
It's not an every weekend thing. It's an event out here, you know. So when I was taking it, I was like, what else do you do?
Like, what else are you black people doing?
Right. I was like, you shut up. There's a whole school of just black people. Where?
It's like, so there's a whole school and nobody goes there but black people.
Right. I was like, what?
No white people to speak of.
Then I was shocked to find that white people go there too. I was like, what is going on here? I'm so confused.
We can't go nowhere without following us. Can't have a school.
Integrators.
First thing, you told us we couldn't go to your school. So we said, you know what? All right, fine. We'll make our own school. And then you want to come to our school.
Right. Because that's where all the cool people were. What?
Yep. See? Because y'all ain't got nothing cool that we ain't make. Take that to the bank. Anyway, because people want me in the comments mad.
Right. We're
But
just kidding
true.
on some of it. Not most of it, but some of it.
Gospel, blues, rock and roll,
Country.
jazz, country.
Square dancing.
Hip hop.
Yep.
What else you want? Any of the clothing? American food is essentially soul food, which is essentially black food, which is essentially just food of poor people because it's all we had.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Right.
And now that you think about it, all the cool food in the world is poor people's food.
Yes.
Pizza was a peasant dish. Po' boys from New Orleans,
Right.
They call them po' boys.
Well, why are you paying $15 for a biscuit covered with gravy? What is going on with you people?
Yo,
Poor food.
Biscuits and gravy.
Right.
Boy.
That's what you had when you had biscuits. You
And
had
then
flour, water.
Yeah.
You
That's
could
all
make
you
gravy
had.
and some biscuits.
Yeah.
And you had butter.
Yeah, it's all we got. Or like chicken. Why do you love chicken? Because chicken is usually the cheapest meat no matter where you go.
Right.
Sometimes pork can be cheaper, but most of the time chicken is the cheapest meat.
Yeah.
So that's
what you
how
had.
it is.
And you can catch a chicken crossing the street.
Yo, the funniest thing is when I went to Miami to just see chickens just walking around.
Okay.
I was like, anybody, is this anybody's chicken?
See, and that's what happened when I went to Guatemala. There was just pigs just walking in the streets, and they were like,
Because I ain't going front. I'm looking at ribs
that a
all
pig?
over the place. I'm looking at ribs. A brother from the South, too?
I was like,
there goes a rack of ribs. There goes full
Right.
rack right there.
just walking around like,
Just walking around
Sup?
like, hey, what up?
right. I was like,
like you ain't on borrowed time.
right. I was like, who's
Whose pig is this? Are y'all going to eat
walking
this
around?
pig?
Right. And then the dog would look at the pigs like, oh, you got here first? Okay. And they would just go back the other way. I was
Wow.
like, oh, okay.
But yeah, that's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's interesting. And then, to tell people, a lot of times, a lot of people didn't believe me about my culture and how I grew up and how I was raised. They were like, oh, you just faking, you just making up stories or whatever. And then I had one friend, she was so funny. She was like, you hear her talking. She's not making this stuff up.
Like, she ain't making this, huh?
Do you see how black she's not? Come on.
It
has to be true.
But she is black. It's like, I understand because I've been caught up in that thing where it's like, I'm going to have to take your black card.
Right.
But it's like, we gotta kind of let that go sometimes.
Yeah.
Unless we're joking. Unless we're playing around.
I joke about it all the time. I have white friends. I tell them they're red bones all the time. I'm like, I know you passing. Quit playing.
Don't let them in. One got in and she got a whole movie. All right? She got a whole documentary on Netflix.
You should watch it, honestly.
Look, been black all my life, nothing on Netflix, all right? She been black half a life.
You usually need to pretend like you're white.
see, that's what I should do. I should be
the
white.
president of the NRA.
You know what? And I have a white name. I'm gonna let y'all guys know. I have a white name, Kirk Willard. It's perfect white name. There's nothing whiter than that.
You could just be Michael Young.
Oh yeah, you know what? Some people, I do flip some people with that. When I come in, they're like, I'm like, yes, that's me.
That's you.
That's
right,
me.
right.
But Kirk Willard, that'll get him every time.
Willard.
Kirk Willard does like the morning news in like, he does the morning news in like Connecticut or something.
Oh. You can't get any whiter.
I ain't even going to diss Connecticut like that, man.
It snows over his name.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, y'all, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Like, you know, that's what blackness is to me, though. Like, all of us are black, and just figuring out a way to enjoy each other in the many different, you know, whether it's hip hop or it's dance hall or it's tribal.
I mean, if you look at the very, very basic of it, black is the race. And then everything else is the culture or, you know, the environment or the microcosm or whatever. So when people say stuff like, oh, you're not black enough, now I'm just kind of like,
it's like, well, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Because you don't really have any qualifiers for me. You're just telling me that what I am currently
like,
doing
this is my qualifier. Here it is.
Right.
This is my qualifier.
Yeah. So I just try and embrace it all. And I just, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, if it doesn't cash a check or pay a bill,
I gotta give you that. If you look, don't make dollars.
Right. I'm like, sorry.
Like, look, I'm gonna just tell you like this. I ain't that interested.
Right.
Look, where that money? I'm trying to get that bag. No.
But I do think that like myself, I need to do a better job. I hope I didn't make a.
Nah, you're good.
Okay. I need to do a better job of knowing my black history.
Okay. I think a lot of us do. I think there's so much fragmented, and then of course, the school systems that most of us come up in don't help.
Right. But like for us to not, for us to be able to move forward, I think we need to be better aware of where we came from in our past and, you know, what we've gone through. Because I know I've had limited conversations with other people who feel like, you know, here on the West Coast, we feel like, well, we've come far enough that it's okay for us to let go of some of our history. And I'm like, no, because outside of this big blue bubble.
Don't you do that.
Right. The struggle's still going on in the other places. And we all need to come forward.
And similar struggles went on, you know, in Virginia, in New Orleans, in Colombia, or in Trinidad. Like, very similar things went on to finally get to the point we're at now. And this we ain't the best.
Right. Rodney King wasn't even that long ago, and here it was here in LA, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, we've come a long ways from that, but we still have a long ways to go. And so for me, I have spent a lot of time learning about black history and learning about, you know, since slavery, you know, and the ripples and the after effects that come from like Jim Crow and from the segregation and
Reconstruction and all that, man.
Yeah. So I think we still need, in order to move forward and to actually have an educated dialogue with other people about who we are and why we deserve the respect that we are demanding, we need to keep up with.
We need to know it ourselves.
Yeah, we need to know our black history. Cool. I mean, I can't educate you on what I don't know.
True.
Right? And I can't teach you tolerance if I don't have any, right? So if I can explain to you where I'm coming from, then you should have a better understanding of, you know, my frustrations, right? And why you should be more tolerant. And I'm saying that because I've had a lot of Facebook arguments.
Yo, not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not on Instagram, nowhere. I say what I gotta say, and I bounce.
And I'm not that. I want to hear why you feel the way you feel, so that you can understand why I feel the way I feel.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to leave you where I found you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm so used to people being trolls that I don't even engage anymore. I'm just like, you're wrong because of this, this, and this, and then I don't even come back. Like, I'm just like, nah.
And good for you. I wish I could do that. Because I'm like checking like every 5 minutes. Like, what they say?
What did he say?
Right. You haven't answered yet? That's right.
Well, I'm gonna get you back.
Right. And I'm waiting. I got arguments prepared. Any dumb shit you say,
I'm gonna copy and paste this from last week's argument. This is perfect.
I'm looking at resources while you sit up there doing whatever you went on with your life.
She got visual aids and links.
I do.
Oh boy.
So but that's my little hang up, and I need to get better at letting stuff go. And I try to, just walk away from, look, I'm going to leave you with this piece of information, and I'm going to give you this path to follow. And if you choose not to follow it, I've done what I'm supposed to do.
There's so many people that I think now are just ready to argue.
Yeah.
Is it like they just want to fight just to fight?
Right.
And those are the ones where I'm just like, I'm not even.
Right.
I ain't even here for that.
Well, what's crazy is how much I learned and what I learned from those arguments about their frustrations, and and it really made me do some soul searching on my own part about where they're coming from, and really trying to understand why they refuse to let go of either their ignorance or their belief or whatever, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of the arguments I had came from an emotional place out of fear.
Yep.
That they didn't understand.
Fear will get you, boy.
Right.
Fear.
As opposed to, it being a political thing, or it being about supremacy or something like that. It was, that they have been, maybe I'm just giving an example of fed lies about, I'll lose my home, or I'll lose my position, or, that's another job I won't get.
They're taking something from you.
Or, exactly, right. Or, or I'll lose the respect that my race is entitled to. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like this.
You see my eyes rolling, but it's like, because it's essentially lies that rich people in power have fed to poor people to keep them from uniting.
Well, just anybody. Anybody who, it's a leverage that anybody who wants to keep power uses to keep other people in their place.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be rich. I mean, take the prison system, which is like a smaller, universe.
Like a microcosm.
Yeah, and you have some men bullying weaker men and telling them lies, and feeding them stories in order to keep them under their control. Yeah. They don't have money or power other than what they have
just
robbed
like
this person
the
of.
Clout.
Yeah, through feeding their fear.
True.
So, I mean, it can be used by anyone. And the problem is that, and I was actually having this internal argument with myself earlier today about why are people afraid of the things that they've never seen and never experienced? Like, why is that a fear? Why am I afraid to succeed? Why am I afraid to try something new? What is so scary about something that I've never done before?
It's always that unknown, man. It's either unknown or a made up boogeyman that that gets sold.
But where did it come from? You know what I'm saying? And all you have to do is figure out what my fear is and then feed it, right? Yeah. And then you got control of me. Yeah,
because they know, like, hey, times are hard. So what we'll say is like, you take all your jobs,
Right.
All your jobs gonna be gone.
Right.
You ain't gonna, instead of being like, let's take like the coal industry. Mm-hmm. And I was born in West Virginia. I grew up in Virginia, so I know about the coal industry and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But you're essentially looking at industry that's been dying since like the 60s or 70s.
Right.
But now it's going to be, Democrats want to take your job.
Yes.
Dude.
They want to take your health care.
Your jobs have been like slowly whittling away for the last couple of decades.
Right.
Like, it's not like someone, and even the right or the left, it doesn't matter. I really don't care about the right or the left. Mm-hmm. I care about like what's going to work, or how are we going to fix this, or how are we going to get past this.
Right, but that's not what we focus on. We focus on feeding that fear. Like, well, if you can't do this, then what are you going to do with the rest of your life? How are you going to make your money? You're going to lose your home.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, well, we need to retrain you so that you can do a job that's, going to get you a viable position somewhere else where you're going to be able to sustain your lifestyle. But we don't do that, or not all of us, or enough of us do that.
Yeah, because it's more like pawns. Like even like I said with the most recent presidential election, you know, there's a guy that found something that sells better than sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, hate sells. Oh, hate sells real good.
Yeah.
And people forgot how well hate sells.
Yeah.
And
Fear sells.
Man, sells so good.
Yeah.
Took it right to the bank.
Right.
And because he was like, I know there's a lot of people that are mad.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of people sitting at home that are angry.
Yes.
And they need a champion.
And they're afraid. And
they're afraid to say something.
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
feed
they
their
need
fears,
a champion.
and I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna make all these empty promises.
Yeah, because there were many times that you've seen in interviews with this person's staff, and they'll be like, it'll be like, but this is he shared this on Twitter, but this has been proven to be false. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if that's real. The threat is real. Well, if the threat is based on this, but we find out that this is fake, then it's not a true threat.
Right.
Now you're dealing with a phantom threat. So now you're dealing with just the idea of something that could happen.
Right. Right.
So now we're not even dealing with the truth anymore.
But I'm afraid of it.
We're not even dealing with historical data.
Right.
Now we're just dealing with you don't like it because you don't like it.
Yes.
So.
Or I don't like it because I'm afraid of it because
Yeah.
I've not done enough research to,
Yeah.
Diminish my fear of this thing.
True.
So, yeah, I mean, there's so many interesting things, but
Yeah,
these are
it definitely-
the conversations that I rarely get to talk about.
But that's good.
Other
That's good
people.
because this is, something that we do need to think about. Like, what is blackness to us, to each of us individually?
Yeah.
And
And
even
how do
though
I
we
qualify?
how do we qualify, and how do other people see blackness?
Yeah.
And the value or lack thereof.
Right.
That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Well, look, as long as I know you, you're gonna be black.
Oh,
So
good. Thank you.
You're
I'm black
welcome.
in Virginia.
That's right. She black. She black. So it's all y'all know. But yo, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was fun. This was
Now-
a great conversation.
Before we bounce,
Yeah.
tell the wonderful people where they can find you.
I'm at MD Marie Stories, and I'm also on Facebook, MD Marie, and I'm on Instagram, Mischievous Model, with 2 S's, MISSCHIEVOUS, underscore, not underscore, what's the line?
Hyphen?
No, the other one, on the bottom.
Underscore, yeah, underscore.
Yeah, okay, underscore model.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And see, I know it, but I'm just like, I've never been like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and then also the literary works of MD Marie on Facebook. So
Oh, okay, okay.
you can find me in
Now
all those
you-
places. Don't
I know you're working on
post
some
nothing
stuff.
mean.
Can you talk? I know you're working on some stuff. Can you
Yes.
talk about any of it
I
or
can.
preview some of it?
I can.
Okay, cool. So
So,
what are you working on? Or what have you finished recently?
I finished Vindication, and Vindication will be out in January 2019. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be, that's been a labor of love and a long time in the making, and I'm excited for it to come out. And that is on the topic of, Black identity and,
Cool.
perceptions. The perception
All right.
of certain individuals not matching the
Status quo, I guess.
No, not matching the body, not matching the perception.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I really enjoyed writing that, and I enjoyed interviewing police officers and getting a perspective because the book involves a little bit of racism. It involves a little police brutality and abuse. It involves a little bit of detective work and murder. So it's all these things, and it's a little bit of politics also. And it was a tremendous learning experience for me. And I really enjoyed writing the story. And the way that I write is I kind of put the story out there and you choose who you like and who you don't like and what you do like and what you don't like. I don't.
Well, that's good.
I don't have a black hat, white hat.
Oh, okay. It's on you to figure out who's right and who's wrong.
Exactly.
Like Black Panther this year. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that were like, yo, your boy Killmonger went wrong.
Right. You get to make a decision.
I'm of the mind that he wasn't particularly wrong, but you do have to own the fact that what you're about to do, even though would be considered just, is still murder.
Well, I mean, what does the military do?
Well, yeah, that's true. And his name is Killmonger, so
Right.
it's Killmonger, man.
I mean, when he had revealed his plan, I was like, oh, that's the Black Dream.
Yeah, I was like,
right all the wrong.
On the real, straight up. I went to the screening of Black Panther, and when he looked at her and he said, "How do you think your people got this? You think they paid a fair price?" I looked at my wife and we said, "Ooh,
right.
So this is the movie we're watching."
Right.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised Disney let that line go through, and I was like, "Huh." Okay.
They're evolving.
I was like, wow.
Because they're coming out with an animated feature about a Nigerian princess.
Wow.
So
okay, all right.
They're coming.
Disney trying to slide it a little bit. They working on things. They're trying.
But for me, the most profound line was when he said, "Bury me at sea with my ancestors."
Oh,
that whole oh my God, I sank in my seat and I was like, oh, that was profound.
Because it's. There's a lot of lost men and women in the Atlantic that we'll just never know. We'll just never know the amount. Thousands, hundreds of thousands,
oh, man, that
maybe
was the
a million.
Line I
Who
think
knows?
I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was deep.
Yeah.
That was deep.
I loved it. But so like I said, I don't write black hat, white hat. I write characters. They have their flaws and they have their positive attributes, and you pick what you like and what you don't like and who you choose to want to win. I've had people pre-read the book and they really wanted a character to die.
Where's my see? Look, hold up. Just so y'all know, I asked to interview her long time ago.
And I always say yes.
And I ain't never got no copy of the book. But it's all good. I'll get, because we're going to do something. We got to do something say like a week before. We can sit down.
Yes.
After I've read the book that everybody else has read.
I'll give you the exclusive interview, the first interview.
Thank you.
You heard it here.
Thank you.
He gets the first interview.
First interview. Yeah. That's right. Thank you.
And the funny thing is, I'm gonna have questions for you.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, so what you think about? Yeah. Why?
But we'll do it in a non-spoilery way, though. Yeah. So we promise.
So I'm excited about Vindication coming out.
Cool.
And I'm super excited about the first cover. And a little spoiler alert, my brother drew it. It's amazing. It's super powerful. I love it.
See, and hopefully I'll be able to see that today.
Yes, you'll be able to see that today.
But I'll be able to see it.
Yes, and so then I just pitched a book that I got green-lighted to do, and I'm excited to do, and I'm calling it Angela. That's my draft name. Mm-hmm. And it's basically about the trial, specifically the trial of Angela Davis, when she was indicted for murder.
Wow!
And I'm excited to write that book.
Wow!
Because I feel like, one, she is a hero to me because she used her education, and to defend herself and to win, and she never changed. Not one iota of her character.
And she did it inside of a system that wasn't hers.
Yes, definitely rigged against her.
Yeah, she did it in a system that wasn't hers.
Yeah, and very, very powerful men were looking to crush her. Yeah. And I think that is a story that needs to be told, because for me, the main message was when you're armed with education and smarts, you are better defended than you are with artillery.
And it's another good story to tell now, because it seems like just fakeness and ignorance and dumbness it feels like it's really winning.
Yeah.
It feels like it's on a run right now.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it feels like dumbness is on a run right now.
Right. She showed a full afro, turtleneck, leather black jacket.
She came in Black Panthered up.
Man,
and she
never
did it, man. She
never changed anything about herself. And I feel like, regardless of your race or where you come from, she is a strong female who stood her ground and was educated.
Well, because she was
articulate.
right.
Yeah.
And there's so many times that even when you're right, you don't get the fair shake.
Right.
Well, I mean, she wasn't getting a fair shake. She had to essentially fight for her fair shake.
Yeah, but she did it using her mind.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important to communicate to other females. Is, you know, like, your mind is just as strong a weapon as any other thing you have, your beauty, your physical strength, your, you know, whatever it is. I feel like your skill set in your mind is just as strong a weapon and should be used more than the others. You know? Okay. And for me, her being a survivor and going on to be a professor, a law professor, and, you know, still having a career and doing all the things that she did, I mean, she's my inspiration.
She's an inspiration, yeah. She really is. Because the way, and guys, you can look her up if you never heard Angela Davis. Just look her up. It'll, you know, I'm sure Wikipedia has something about it short, but go look. There's some documentaries, at least about some of the trial, because the stuff that I've seen about her were documentaries about like Black Panther, but with her tied in. So I haven't really seen anything focused, you know, like specifically on her, but she did it, man.
Another reason why this really graphic novel needs to be written, right?
Yeah.
Because she needs to be highlighted, and it needs to show. And now a lot of people don't want to consider her a hero because, you know, she was associated with the Black Panthers and she was associated with communism, but she was a hero.
Yeah, and
well, I can't say was because she's still alive.
I'm so tired of the communist thing, but
yeah. But it was okay for others.
They just associated with her. They associated with her with communism because that was like the easy blanket thing to do in the day. Like, and then she's a communist, and like everybody just like jump on you.
Yeah.
It's like,
because it wasn't enough that she was a Black Panther and she was a Black female.
It's like, do you know she's also a communist?
Yeah.
Like,
and whatever else they could throw on her.
Yeah.
And she didn't buy Girl Scout cookies. You know,
like, did you know that she doesn't even like ice cream?
Right.
Like, who doesn't like ice cream?
Right. She's so black she doesn't like vanilla. Whatever it could be.
Like somebody tries to hand her vanilla, she's like,
right.
I prefer chocolate.
Right. So, I mean, I think that her story needs to be told. I hope that she lets me tell it. And I'm super interested in, and it would specifically be about the trial.
All right, well, check this. This is what I'm going to say this right now. She's going to get to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to interview you.
Yes.
And Angela.
Ooh.
On the show.
That would be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
Yes.
Angela Davis, who watches the show all the time. I know you watch the show. Big fan. Love to have you go and come down. Check out the show. Hang out with us. Let's get this thing done. We can kick it and talk about, you know, how you took down the system.
Right. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that for sure. Yeah. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm up to.
What up?
Lately, and I'm excited about. I want to also get back to writing some superhero stuff.
Oh, good old superheroes.
Yeah, I like, you know.
But see, I'm interested in the court drama now. I'm like,
right.
Objection.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm like, I watch Law and Order.
Yo, man, look.
That show was awesome.
Yo, Law and Order is, I have a love-hate with that show.
Really? Why?
Well, SVU. I haven't watched any other. I've watched other incarnations, but I only watched SVU all the way through.
Oh.
And when you binge watch the whole series within like a month, you start to see a lot of racist stuff in the show.
Yeah.
See, like when it happens like week to week, you don't really notice it because it's like, you know, it's a whole week, you know, you've gone to work or you've gone to school or other things have happened.
Okay.
When you watch it back to back to back, you start to see, so why'd the black mom get threatened to go to jail? The white mom with like cocaine all over her table. They never even mentioned jail.
Right.
They didn't even mention it.
And you know, I watched Law and Order, Law and Order.
The regular Law and Order.
Yeah.
See, I watched the SVU, so
and it's interesting because I was like, huh. And you know, to watch the evolution of law through that show, you know, and to see how, you know, when laws were created and they started to implement them in the show is very interesting. And to see how they treated white defendants versus how they treated Hispanic defendants versus black defendants.
And even how they characterize them.
Yeah.
Like, and not even before you get to the treating part, how they characterize them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow.
But I get a lot of learning lessons as far as writing from that show because, you know, I wouldn't write a story like Law and Order, but I learn about, how you write a character, and how you write a scenario so that it leans that way, but it didn't completely tilt, So it's interesting. I like watching that show, but my story will be a little more, it'll be more graphic novel and more exciting, and maybe inciting. So.
And then also show, just the powerful blackness that is Angela Davis.
Yes.
But so guys, you can find me, of course, NERDSoul, NERDSoul, all over the internet. That's right, Google, YouTube, all that stuff. Checking us out now, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and make sure to share it to your people so they can see it too. And don't be holding on to this greatness by yourself.
Yes.
All right? Don't be stingy.
Yes.
Share it. Now you can hit that thumbs down. If you hit that thumbs down,
you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
I'm looking right at you. So before we bounce, sending you much love.
Only because our feelings will be hurt.
Yes.
We're not going to do nothing.
But I'm gonna still be, I'm gonna be peeping you, right?
Right.
But this is from us to you, just saying, peace.
Peace.